You heard it here first. It's not even on our website yet. Well, as I said, Beau needs no introduction. He is our kind of, Lake County is his patch. He's out, I think, every day, birding in Lake County. And the last time he spoke to us as on a Zoom, it was a Zoom program. It was right after he finished his big green year, which was January to December in 2020. So January 2021, he spoke to us about that project, which logged on his bike and on foot 276 species. He biked nearly 6,120 miles, including one 108-mile round trip in a single day. An amazing feat. So Beau's back to talk to us about how to use eBird. And thank you, Beau. And I will turn the floor over to you.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. Good to see all of you again. I'm going to try to share my screen. So let me see if I can hopefully do that. All right, you guys see that okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Move me off the screen, Beau.
Okay, gotcha.
There you go.
All right, cool. So I'm really excited about sharing a lot of stuff with you guys tonight. I'm a total eBird freak. So I spend, when I'm not out birding, I'm sitting in front of the computer looking at eBird stuff. It's pretty awful, actually, but I need to really get more two-dimensional at least. But there's a lot of fun stuff to look at here. I'm constantly trying to figure out, like, what's my next birding trip going to be? You know, where am I going to go, and what am I looking for, and all kinds of other stuff. So anyway, I thought I would share some of that with you guys. I'm sure there's at least a couple things you might be interested in. So let's get to it. So the first thing you really want to do is, if you don't already have an account, you should create one. And all you really need to do to create an account is put in like your name and email address, and then put in a password, and that's it. And they don't send you like tons of junk emails or anything like that. They just need your email address in case reviewers have to communicate with you or something. It's pretty easy. And in order for you to use a lot of the information, you know, you need to make an account. So I would highly suggest that you do that. You don't have to, though. I mean, you can always submit stuff without having an account. I'm going to go to. All right, so I'm going to go to my account so that I can just show you how to submit things. If you are new to eBird, it's pretty easy. You just go in. If you don't have locations, you just find them on a map, type in your county, and then just pick your spot. You can use a hot spot, or you can make your own spot. So, you know, Kingston Park, wherever the heck that is. Oh, that's a new one. Never even heard of that one. There you go, Greenbelt Forest Preserve, and type in all your data, and you can go from there. Now, one thing I like, I just actually learned this year, because I didn't know you could do this. You can just put in an entire county or state. So this works for me, especially because I do a lot of big days, and I don't make eBird reports for every stop that I make. So I just put in the whole county and then make my list. Now, the only thing with that is that it doesn't go on the general eBird list. They don't use the data. It's only for my personal use, and so no one else sees it, which is, I guess, the drawback to it. I try not to do it too much because it's not really useful information for anyone else other than me. But if you do that, and I took a Southern Illinois trip with Nat Carmichael in June, and we did, you know, we're picking up birds on the side of the road and stuff. We're not going to make an eBird list for every spot where we get birds. So we just made a list of all the birds that we had while we were down there. And we just used Illinois as the whole state for the list. But that was just for the two of us. So, but that's something that you can do too if you don't have, if you cover a large area and you're not making lists. if you're making lists all the way as you go, I'll show you something else you can do too. All right, so let's go. If you make yourself an account, you can go to my eBird. And so on my eBird, you can look at a lot of different stuff on here. So to start with, you have your lists. So if you want to have, here's your life list up here. So this is my world life list. You can also change the area, and you can go look at your United States list instead of your whole world list. And I only need 3 species to get 600 in the United States. Oh my gosh, 3 stinking species. So, but you can look and see what stuff you had. And you can also look at the birds themselves. Like I had Canyon towhee. Where are all the places I had a Canyon towhee? Oh, there we go. Bob Rodriguez Yard, Nash Canyon Bird Sanctuary, 2 places. But you can, if you're interested, let's say you're looking around closer to home for stuff. But let's go back. Let's say we're looking at this year. So here's my total for this year. Where are all the places I've seen in northern saw-whet owl? I got 3 of those last night, by the way, which is really awesome. Not seen. I had them calling, responding to calls, but it was still pretty cool. We had one fly right by us too, which was kind of cool. But you can look at, you can see all the places, where I've had them in the past. So I can look at all the spots where I've had them. And you can do that for everything. So anytime you want to look at your own historical records, it's a great place to start. So you check that out. Let's say you want to know. So I have 267 species up to date right now. So if I click on this, there we go. If I hit show all, I can see where I stand now in comparison to other years. I'm ahead of 2017, which was my highest total ever. So that's pretty good. Let's see if I can beat that total. That'd be kind of fun. So you can do stuff like that. You can check your lists over the years. If you click it again, it puts it in chronological order. And if you hit it again, then you can go by order of species and you can see where you're at. So that's kind of cool. If you're interested in your checklists, you want to see what your checklist for November or October were, they're all there. I don't use that one so much, but the species one for sure, and also the months. So November 2022, you can also change it to what I see in July 2022. I had 117 species. So you can have, you can look historically, you can always look back at your own stuff and compare it. You want to see, geez, I wonder how I'm doing this year. Is this really a worse year than it was 2 years ago? Stuff like that. You can always check that. So that's kind of cool. Locations, I don't use this much, but you can always merge locations if you have too many of them, which is interesting, but that one's not really, at least I don't use that one that much. Trip reports are great though. So you make trip reports. So I went to Arizona, and what you do is when you make these are all my eBird lists, you put all your eBird lists in, and then you hit trip and make a trip report. And then you just put the date in and it will automatically, you don't have to do anything else. It will automatically take all your lists for that time period. So all my eBird lists from August 2nd to August 7th were all compiled together into one list. So I could see how many species I had in the entire trip. So that's kind of cool. So if you have, you know, you're out all day and you're making eBird lists, you want to see how many species you have for the day, you can always make the trip report. I do that sometimes for day trips too. I do it for, you know, vacation trips. I just put 3 spots in, I think, just to see how many species of waterfowl I had one day. So you can do all kinds of stuff with that. So that's pretty cool too. The trip report, I like that a lot. Alerts are great. So you can sign up for alerts. So if you want to find out what ABA rarities are being seen right now in the entire ABA area, you can sign up for those. You can sign up for rare birds of any place. I sign up for the ones for Lake County, but you can sign up for them for Illinois as a whole or any other state or area that you want. The needs list is great too. So if anybody sees a bird that you don't have on your list yet, you automatically get sent an email with the report on it. So you can check the you know, eBird list, the date, the data, the map, where it was seen, all kinds of stuff. So that's pretty good. I like that one a lot too. Especially if you're a lister, you know, you want that kind of stuff to show up in your email so you don't have to go looking for it. So that's kind of nice. I don't really use data imports too much. So yeah, we'll skip that one. Okay, so that's a lot of, you know, what you can do with your checklists and what you can do on your My eBirds page. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else more from that. There's a lot of stuff on Explore, so let's go there. So Explore is cool. You can explore a lot of things. So let's say you want to know, where can I find evening grosbeaks? Let's see. Is that what I went? That's not what I wanted to do. No, that's not what I wanted to do. Never mind. Here we go. Species maps. That's what I wanted. All right, you can go to species maps and then type in evening grosbeak. And then you can see where all the places are that evening grosbeaks show up. And it's year round all year. So you can change your time period too. So if you want to find out, like in December, where do they show up? Only in the past 3 years. That's a little bit less. And if you get a little closer, the purple boxes disappear and you get the teardrops, which show you the locations. Although this part, I don't know, for some reason they don't have the really recent ones on here. I don't know why, but oh, it's December, that's why. So we'd have to put November on there. I don't know why I was thinking it was December. That's kind of goofy. There we go. So we got all the flyovers at Fort Sheridan, and Stephen had one in Wakanda. There was a couple out in McHenry County. And then there's the few that showed up a couple of years ago in Grays Lake, a couple of feeders. So you could see, you know, if you're interested in where they've been in the past, you can always check that out too. So the species maps is good. I like searching the photos and sounds a lot too. So you can look up, if you want to, so let's say you want to know what northern sawed owls sound like. You can hit the sound and you'll get recordings that people have made and attached to their eBird reports. and then you can play them and listen to what they say. Of course, you never know how loud they're going to be, but that was the tooting of one. But so anyway, you can use whatever filters you want to. You can look at all the photos, which are really cool. So that's pretty interesting too, especially when you're looking at some birds that you're not really sure, like a northern wheat ear. It was found in southern Illinois, and I was like, what the heck's a northern wheat ear even look like? I've never seen one. So there you go, northern wheat ear. So that's what showed up down at Prairie Ridge. That's pretty cool. But you know, the species accounts are really good sources of information, and a little bit better, I think, than just Googling them online. These seem to be a lot more accurate anyway, in my estimation, for things that I've just looked at on Google. So that was pretty good. And you can see who took the photos, when they were taken. All right, so a lot of people ask, like, I'm going to Florida and I want to go birding. Where are the best places for me to go birding? And people ask this stuff all the time. I see this on social media a lot. Somebody give me some tips on where I should go birding in, you know, Omaha, Nebraska. Well, if you explore the hot spots, that'll tell you all the #1 places, really. The only drawback to eBird, though, is that you really need to have people that are doing a lot of birding out there. If you have places that don't have a lot of population, like Wyoming, for example, I mean, there's still going to be hot spots out there, but there's probably also going to be a lot of good places that people haven't been to, which is also good because you can explore some new stuff. But anyway, so you can go, let's say you want to go to Tallahassee. Where's a good place to go birding in Tallahassee? Just go look on the hotspot map and find Tallahassee, if you can find out where it is. Jacksonville. Here's Tallahassee.
Go up.
So here's Tallahassee. So the darker the orange on the color, the more species have been found there. But again, this is for all years and year round. So you can change your date range. Once again, let's go in November. Let's say you just want the current year. You can go all the years if you want, but let's say you just want the current year and see what's being found right now. Then the colors are going to be a lot lighter because it's only 1 year. So, but still, these places up here at the top would be your #1 spots. And so you can see all the places where people have been birding. These would be your major places. And nothing else is really standing out. These two are a little bit better, it looks like, but you know, you can see anyway what the big spots are, and you can always go back to get more data. You can always just use all years too. And then I'll give you probably a better indication, of over the years, what the good spots have been. Pretty much the northern section, though. If you're interested in going to Tallahassee in November. All right, let's see, what's another one? The bar charts I use a ton. So bar charts, you can look at a couple things. So let's say we go to Illinois. And let's say we just look at Lake County. You can pick as many, up to 15 counties. So And let's look at just November. Oops. Just in the past 3 years. I just like using more recent data most of the time. All right, so we've had 171 species reported in Lake County over the past 3 years in November. So
In November.
what's that?
In November.
Yes, in November, right? So let's say I want to find a black scoter. Who's found black scoters recently? And so there you go. Your black scoters show up. For the past 3 years in November, this is where they've been seen. Fort Sheridan.
Oh, are you saying like the red means more?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, good question. All right, so the color of the teardrop is a time frame. So the red ones have been in the past 30 days.
Oh.
The blue ones are anything past 30 days. So it can be like, you know, a month, 2 months ago, or well, we're in November. So it's going to be like another year, like last year. So this blue one is from 2021 and 2020. Up here, you got same thing, 2021. So all the red ones are the present year. So Nat, Annette, Bill had one on the 12th this year at Waukegan Beach, had 2 of them. So yeah, the color has to do with the time period. Sorry, I forgot all about that. Also, the large teardrops are hot spots, and the small teardrops are personal locations, if you see those on the map. These are all at hot spots. There aren't any personal locations on this particular map, so but we'll see a couple. Like we'll pick a one from Jim Steffen's feeders.
Mhm.
Let's see. You want, what did he just have recently? Yeah, see, I comb through all the sightings like all the time. We could look at fox sparrow. I bet that's probably showing up at some of these feeders. He's going taxonomic order on here too. There you go. Well, there you go. So if you look at fox sparrow, so you've had
Yep.
all the orange, all the red ones are the recent ones. So here's one at Susan Lambert's feeder,
Mhm.
or at Charlotte Pavelka's feeder, or at Lisa Draper's feeder. So all those little ones are all personal locations. Jim Steffen's feeder, and then Van Patten Woods, those are your hot spots. So you can tell by looking at the teardrop shape if it's a hot spot or just a personal location, if that matters to you. Yeah.
Why don't you go to purple sandpiper January or whatever you want, just because that's something that people would look for, just out of curiosity.
Okay. Sure. Purple sandpiper.
I happen to see it on here and
Let's see. Well, there's a couple ways you can look for it, I guess, but let's try this.
okay, so you're looking by species, okay?
Yeah, you can do it that way, or you can do bar charts for what
Right,
month
just
you want to look
but
at.
take people through how you're doing it. So you started with species, okay, then what?
Yeah, if I want to look at like when or where can I find a species, this is how I would do it. So you just go, you explore the species, type it in, and then you'll get a range map for it. So this is year round all years. So if you want to look at, you know, the United States, depending on if you're talking what area of the country you're looking at, they're more common along the East Coast. But if you want to see like when in the Chicago area do we have these? You got to keep enlarging it all the time to get rid of all the purple boxes. So these are all past sightings because they're blue, okay, but all on the lakefront. And you can type in, if you want to find out when it was, that's December 2020. I'll show you something else too on the map. Actually, I should probably do that. That might be better. Let's go back. Oh, I should have saved the bar chart. Oh wait, I did. Okay. So let's do this. Let's change this to, we want to find purple sandpiper. I think it should be.
Yeah,
on
you
here.
just passed it a minute ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go. All right. All right. Something else you can do for the purple sandpiper, you can look at, oh, they don't have the graph on here. That's weird.
Or scoters, I don't care, I was just,
No, maybe it's only on laptops. There's another designation next to the name of the bird. Like this shows you the map where the sightings are. But there's something else. There's another one that shows you a graph of what the highest probability period of time is to find the bird. That must be on my laptop. I'm using my iPad right now. I don't see it on there. Maybe it changes if you're on a mobile device. I don't know. But there's a graph you can click to, which is really useful. But if you're looking at purple sandpiper, all right, so we've had in November the 22nd at North Point Marina. Same day, Waukegan Beach, you've had 13th from 2021. So we had basically 2 days in November. Most of them show up in December. Either late November or December is when they show up the most. But I think in, let's see. So if we throw in December, should be more on here. Well, maybe I got it in October. I don't know. They sometimes show up in October too. In 2020, I got one at North Point Marina, but I can't remember when it was. I thought it was November, but I guess not. (12/11) 2020, 12/7. So yeah. So anyway, there's your sightings for purple sandpiper. They're hard to find for sure. They're not around too often. Okay. Let's see what else on the bar charts. Oh, yeah, the bar charts show you. Yeah, I think I just got rid of it. Sorry. I inadvertently deleted stuff. Okay. If you want to know your highest probability for finding birds, you can also look at the actual graph going across, which is useful too. So the larger the area of green, the more likely you're going to find the bird. So ring-necked ducks are going to show up the most in March, and then again in like the third week in October, according to eBird reports. Now this is just according to eBird reports. So you know, birds can show up places where they haven't been reported too. So it's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a pretty good idea in the areas where there's been a lot of eBird reports. So in the Chicago area, we have tons of eBird reports. So this data is going to be pretty useful for us because there's a lot of data. So, you know, a lot of times people are wondering, you know, when's the best time to see a bald eagle? You know, stuff like that. So you go on here. Where's the bald eagle? There he is. So, I mean, bald eagles are pretty common here most of the spring and then fall and winter, November, and then December and January. You're going to find a lot of them, February, March. Really, just May, June, and July and August, the summer's the hardest time to find them. Otherwise, they're pretty easy to find in numerous places. But then you want to find out when's the best time to see a red-shouldered hawk. Well, then you go to the hawk watch in October and November. Finding them anywhere else is pretty tough in Lake County. So you're gonna go, well, where have they been seen? Oh, here we go. The best place to find birds in Lake County is Richard Biss's backyard. Go hang out with him and his Questar and you'll find everything. And then Adam had 4 at his house. Look at that. Hawk watching in Sell's backyard. That's another one. And the hawk watch is all that. Jim Steffen had one at his house too. So those are all flyovers almost certainly, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Finding red shoulders in Lake County is pretty hard. Van Patten Woods, that one might have been actually in a tree, so that's pretty cool. Oh man, I gotta quit doing that. Yeah, you can tell I'm so good at using technology. Keep wiping out my stuff. Oh, I put Grundy in there too. All right, that's cool. Let's see what. Oh, here it is. This is the graph thing right here. So if we have lesser scob, when are they most abundant? There you go. 315 maximum frequency. If you include Grundy and Lake County. So that's kind of cool. You can look at the graph and you can see when they're around the most.
How did you get to the graph? Go back. How'd you get there?
So when you're looking at your bar chart, you pick the squiggly line thing right here.
Oh,
See, this is the map. So this takes you to map where all the sightings are. Good grief. Why is it? Okay, so you can see where all the sightings are. And then if you go to the squiggly line thing, it gives you the graph of abundance. You can also click on these things, although, yeah, I'm not sure what the difference between frequency and abundance is. Maybe number of birds versus number of sightings, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty much, looks pretty much the same though. So you got some more in November too. A lot of the ones in the fall, especially, although this can happen in the spring too. Like we just had a whole bunch of waterfowl that just showed up because we had all those really warm temperatures in October. And so there was no waterfowl moving hardly at all. Now that it's freezing, you know, and getting cold out, the birds are starting to move south. So we're getting a lot more stuff showing up. So it's seasonal too. Like it's not always the same every year. All right, so that's the bar charts are my favorite thing to use because I always can look and see, you know, over the past couple of weeks, what's been showing up. But you can also do it this way too. So explore. So we'll go off the bar charts now. So I'm not going to go back to bar charts anymore. We can explore regions. Let's look at Lake County. So let's say we want to know, okay, what species have been seen recently? So last seen, oops, that's just going to give me the same thing. So last seen is the stuff that just showed up. So I had 2 owls last night with Eric. So we had that, bunch of waterfowl. So this is good for me. Like I'm planning my big day for December on December 1st. I'm constantly looking through this stuff, trying to see what people are seeing right now, because as it starts getting cold and things start to freeze, birds are going to start being more difficult to find. So I want to know, like, who had a belted kingfisher? Because that bird is really hard to find in December, except on the Des Plaines River, which I can't always get to on a big day. So it's good to know that there's one on Third Lake, although I've seen them there before. But oh, there's Lisa. Hey, Lisa. So these things are good to look at. Red-throated loon, Joe. Oh yeah, Dave found a couple of red-throated loons off of Hosa Park. Dave Johnson, and so Joe found those, which is good. Purple finch at Melody Farm. I haven't heard too much about purple finch sightings recently, so that's pretty good. Susan had a northern harrier at Nippersink, which isn't a good sighting. What, Sonny?
And the same.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you said something. Yeah, so anyway, you can go look through all this recent ones, then more recent, click the more recent visits, and you can get up to date ones. The last checklist turned in for Lake County was at 3:37 this afternoon, or at least the ones that have been updated onto the website so far. And then the number of species shown. So you can check out what people are seeing. A lot of these are personal sightings and people's feeders and such. But you can see what we saw at McDonald Woods this morning, which wasn't too bad. We had 3 grackles fly over us. That was pretty good. A lot of snow. You want to see a shrike? Go to Middle Fork. Easiest place to see a shrike.
Really?
So that's good too. I always scan through those all the time to see what people are seeing in various places. The target species one is really good. Let's say you're doing a big year and you want to know, all right, for November, for my Lake County year list for 2022, what should I be looking for? Oh, I don't have a black scoter yet. Got to find one of those. All right, so that goes to the top of your list, and then you see, you have goals. Goals are good. So then you want to find a black scoter. So hit the lakefront. Also, it's good to know, start practicing on your lake watching too, and see if you can find one flying by you. It's really hard to find them sitting in the water. So yeah, and the purple sandpiper. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get a small-billed Alania. That's hilarious that shows up 3rd on the list. That's where your data can skew things a little bit, because like 9 million people came to see the small-billed Alania when it was at Waukegan.
Right.
That shoots up to the top. So yeah, red crossbills, a redneck grebe is a good one to look for too. Also on a lake watch probably. Northern goshawk at the hawk watch, although there's minimal days left for the hawk watch. And yeah, there's not a whole lot else. Hope something weird shows up. Can't believe that snowy owl's not on here somewhere. It's kind of wild. I'm sure once we get to December, let's see if we change this to November to December. Still no snowy owl in there? That's crazy. Maybe I got a snowy owl. Do we have any in January? I don't think we did. I don't remember getting one in January, but maybe I did. I don't know. Well, anyway, these are the birds you don't have on your list yet. So those are the things for you to look for if you're interested in finding out what kinds of things you still need. So the target species are really good.
Where did you get to target species? How did you get there?
Well,
Explore target species.
there's a couple of ways you can get there. You can go to explore and then just hit target species. That's the easiest way to do it. And then you just type in your info. Let's see. We did alerts, I think. Yeah, we did. Okay. If you want to see how you compare to everyone else in your area, you can always look at the top 100 for all the overly competitive people like me. So I always go, who's ahead of me? Let's see. Show the top 100. Oh my God. That's right. Annette moved to Sheboygan, so I was actually able to pass her up for a change. So I lame ducked into number 1. So, but yeah, so you can always check that. That's always kind of fun to look at, but not necessary for most people, probably. All time is kind of, I don't think I've even looked at that one before. All time, I'm number 3. Oh yeah, I knew that one. Yeah. Eric and Paul are number 1 and 2. Yeah. So yeah, that's fun. That's just goofy stuff to look at, but now these are great. The yard and patch totals are fun too. If you have great yard lists like many of you have, you can always put in your yard totals, add your yard, just put your yard name, and then put in your lists for your yard, and it will total up all your species for you. I don't have a yard, so I don't do a yard list, but something that's very similar though is your patch totals, which are great. I love that one the most, although they really need to specify more what a patch is, because you have some guys like San Francisco, California. That's not a patch. It's a whole stinking city. That's not a patch. Sorry. The patch should be something like, the 7.5 mile radius type thing, or something small, like 1 site or 2 or something like that. Grays Lake, Illinois, which really isn't very big. So those are all my patches. So I got, I should have, yeah, I got a patch bird with the surf scoter. So 242 for the Rollins Savannah area, which includes Rollins, the Millennium Trail North, and then Jerusalem Lake and Third Lake.
Can you create your own patch?
Yes, you can create your own patch. Yes. But like I said, a patch really isn't like the whole city of San Francisco. Grays Lake is small. San Francisco is huge. So look at this, coastal Alabama. Are you kidding me? That's not a patch. that's an entire geographic area that's huge. So yeah, but they don't have any guidelines for what constitutes a patch. So pretty much anybody puts in whatever they want for a patch. I've seen people put whole counties in for a patch before too. See, now this is good. 5 mile radius from home, 25 mile radius is kind of big, but at least those are smaller areas. So the point of the patch is that you want it to be a place that you go to frequently, right? Close to your house where you don't have to really drive very far. I mean, what's very far, but like more than a couple of miles, I would think not. But, or ride your bike too, you know, stuff like that. But you can make it whatever you want. So yeah, Hannah's my daughter. She lives in Connecticut, so I made a patch for her. So that's fun to keep track of. I did the Count Circle Local Patch Challenge in 2017 and left it up, and I had 268 species life for that patch. That's pretty good. Although I think I have to change some of it because I moved. I don't know if I updated it or not. That might not be 100% accurate. Okay, let's see what else we got here. All right, that's stuff. Those things are just things you can, you know, use to help with your learning some things. I think that might be all of it.
Anybody have any,
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But that's
anybody have
mostly,
any special requests for
Yeah.
a demo before Beau goes or?
yeah,
before we-
shoot me questions, you guys. If you have some stuff you want me to show you how to find anything.
I want to talk about, at least on the eBird app, how you can install different regions, the
On the
list.
app?
Yeah, you can install
I'm
different
not-
regions. Like I'm going into the Caribbean, so I actually have been able to install the list for Virgin Islands and St. Martin and stuff like that, so that I can start looking at the lists of what's in those regions coming
Yeah,
up, so that when I actually use it to record eBird, those lists just pop up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can put those lists in on the mobile app, but yeah, honestly, I've never, when I go anywhere out of the area, I just record the pack and then that's it, and then I don't do anything else with it. And mostly what I do on mobile is I just run the list while I'm out, and then I fill it all in when I come home on my laptop. So I don't really know too much more than that about the app. I'm not especially skilled at using the app for sure.
We have a question. Can you show again? I don't know if we actually showed how to submit observations without signing in.
Yeah, I don't think you need to. If I log out, I don't know if it's gonna let me because I haven't.
Oh, right.
I don't know, but
Theoretically.
yeah, it's.
Oh, because it, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, there's people that have lists that don't have accounts, so you must be able to do it. But the only difference is that once you're signed in, so let me just sign in. So let's say you don't have an account, you're going to get the same page anyway. You just hit submit and you just go to the page and you just go from there. So whether you have an account or not shouldn't have anything to do with what you're doing to submit the list.
So hit submit on the main navigation is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
the submit is what you hit in order to start a list. Yeah. And then you're gonna have to you're gonna have to put in, you know, your area to find out, you know, what the hotspot is you're gonna use, or create your own personal location if you're gonna do that.
Any other questions for Beau? I'll go back to while you're thinking, before we started and I missed this chat, we were talking about tundra swans because of the tundra swan trip that we have this weekend. Nancy Tukowski had 11 tundra swans at Bong in Kenosha, Kenosha County,
Nice.
Wisconsin on Sunday. So
That's
that's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, this is the top, you know, their top migration. To use, oh, Carla says to use the bar chart symbols, your account has to be open. Okay. Okay.
Use the bar charts. Yeah, you have to have an account. If you're going to use the bar charts, that's different than submitting a checklist, though.